Welcome YouTube. This is Kyle D from RideMyAvatar, 200 subscriber video. So I figured today we could kind of go over who is RideMyAvatar, from truly a person that wants to bring you insight. I'm a friend, a content creator. I just started my career in this, but I've had my wins and stuff like that. I mean, my first ever Bushier Road event that I ever went to was Team Leagues back in 2019 for New York Spring Fest. And me and my team actually got second place. My video, my deck profile, I ran Bermuda during that one. Well, okay, I know standard, oh, broken. Bermuda was broken. Well, hey, Bermuda was my clan as well. And it's one of my favorite clans to date. So, what am I going to be bringing towards the future here? Well, that's simple enough. I want to bring you guys deck profiles. I want to bring you guys informative news that'll keep you guys knowing, like, oh, this is coming up. Or, hey, look, this might help me here in the future. Well, maybe you guys haven't had the time to read all the information. Well, hey, I'm going to read it to you guys. Stop by and just hit that subscribe. And you know what? Hey, it'll keep you informed. But major things is about me. I started my Vanguard career actually 2014-ish, if I remember correctly. I didn't really do much with it. I got a basic trial deck, which I'll be actually opening this video. I'll show you my original trial deck. Why I picked it, everything like that will be shortly described. Wait for the future Kyle to show you. So, with that, we also have what first clan I picked, evolving into the G era, and then all the way into standard, what my favorite deck is even to now. But why am I a big fan of Chronofang? Well, here's one thing why he's my avatar, and he will always be my avatar. Well, with it, I originally wasn't a big fan. I loved Gear Chronicle at the time. I was seeing it, I was very enjoying it, but I didn't like the timely shenanigans. I didn't like focusing around Chronojet, because as much as I love dragons, Chronofang appeared on the screen for the first time, and I was like, oh my god, it's amazing. His red armor, his black outlines, his everything about him just screamed. And then learning about his backstory, that he's rebelling, he was imprisoned, everything like that, to find out who he was, especially knowing the Vanguard history, which I'm sad that they don't continue now. But hey, you know what? Eventually, they'll get there. Redoing it, everything like that. So, with that, let us take a glimpse into what my first trial deck was. So, hello again. So, you might be wondering, what was my first trial deck? Well, I mentioned that earlier. Well, my first trial deck was none other than the Revenger trial deck. It was one of the reasons I picked this over, let's say, any other trial decks at the time, was Blaster Dark just seemed to call to me. Like, I did some looking at it, I was like, ooh, the aesthetics, the cool look, everything like that was so unique to it. I mean, yeah, they're Royal Paladins, but in black suits. But, but I don't know, just for some reason, this trial deck called to me when I first started, and I picked it up. I mean, by the time I was actually playing, the Link Joker deck was out too, and everything like that. I could have picked them, but I picked Revengers, and it was quite a good pickup. I mean, hey, it's rare when you actually can open up a rare trial deck like this, especially since they're so hard to find. If I don't fail, we'll just see how badly I fail through this. Dang, I'm failing hardcore. I don't want to, like, ruin it. So, why am I showing you guys my original trial deck? Well, after having to find it and everything like that, it's a great way of showing you my beginnings. What made me pick this? Well, of course, it came with a playbook and actually a mat and everything like that. All the fancy rule books, all that fanciness in this own thing. You got a basic play mat with telling you the phases. You know, nothing too fancy. But also, it gave you like, hey, pick up this support. This support helps. Or tells you a basic combo and everything like that. Which was very unique to itself. I mean, a copy of Yu-Gi-Oh! A little bit on this just to tell you, hey, this is what you do. Well, one thing about these trial decks that I never was a huge fan of growing up when I first started was the fact that Blaster Dark Revenger, 1 copy. Mordred Phantom, 1 copy. So the aces of your deck are literally 1 copies. So if you wanted to build the deck completely, you needed to pick up at least 4 of these. A lot more expensive when these things were like 10 a pop, where Yu-Gi-Oh! Had them at 10 a pop and you could build it out of 3. Now, this 4 copies was a lot. I mean, you also had like Venomous Breath Dragon, which was your backup, grade 3, which wasn't terrible. He was a limit break, so it was cool. This was also a break ride. So being able to have these abilities were really cool. The artwork was just so amazing. I mean, you got your basic 10Ks. You know, the basics of the basics, you know. So, you got, like, the one up here, you know, you wanted a playset of him just to be able to run the deck. You got Cobell, Revenger. You got Revenger of Felates, which was an intercept unit that just gained power. You had your Black Sage Karen, which was just a basic reprint. Then you had Sacrificial Revenger. Again, a lot of these cards were crazy. Especially having like this card here. Masquerade. So, basically it's funny too, because this card and this card are the same person, story-wise. But, again, that's pretty cool. So then we also had Baobab Revenger, which wasn't terrible. It was pretty good. Then you had a vanilla starter. You know, everyone else kind of got their forerunners and stuff like that. We got a vanilla starter in our trial decks. At least you got the trigger lineups. You got a crit. You got rainbow. Basically a trigger of everything. Just so you can get your feet wet. Everything like that. But you still needed a lot of pickups here. Like, definitely you needed a playset of this. You needed a playset of that. You needed basically a playset of this. So you were buying 2 just to compensate for this. Then you had, you know, to buy 4 for that. You know, they were expensive. But, you know, trial decks have improved over time. Which really made me happy as they started to. That related into the Gurgawit trial deck where they introduced PGs into them. Because, man, were PGs expensive. I mean, 1 PG was running you almost 20 bucks a pop. Like, that was crazy to spend money on. You know, with me, this was a starting point. I mean, I like the dragons, I like the edginess, but it was also because of Mordred. Like, Blaster Dark was like the ensemble, but when I saw Mordred for the first time, if this thing would focus, I wish it would, it was really cool. Having a break ride skill was very unique to me, and I really liked it. Having basically a later point in the game, it also was the main reason why I started watching in the Vanguard anime, was like, I was like, what is this nonsense? Just to not know that there was actually a beginning part. I saw that there was like sections, and I never really got into it further. So it was really interesting to see this. So with that, we have so much progress we've come from. I mean, my first deck was Prisms. Like, really, I built from ground up because of the fact that they bounced and multi-attacking and everything like that. I loved that concept. It was very unique to me because, to me, I believe multi-attacking and bouncing stuff was very important. And it was just what it was. Then we get to G era, and I start out basically waiting for a good deck. Well, a deck I would like to play. I didn't really have one. I only updated my Prisms deck, luckily, because the Stride for Prisms was nuts. And as we progressed, I got Gurgawit. I loved Gurgawit because Gurgawit was amazing. Then you had, you know, units. Then Chronofang showed, though. And that's what I fell in love with, was the fact he had an alternative stride cost. It wasn't overly taxing, everything like that. Compared to everyone's hype on Chronojet, I was hyped more for Fang. Rebellion's stride was... Chronofang's stride was amazing. Everything about him was just unique. And that's like what drives me to Vanguard, is the art, the playstyle. I mean, going to locals every week was such a big thing for me. And I kid you not, I miss it as we stand here today. But with Zero, I hope to bring everybody content that they're going to love. And I hope for the best that I can keep producing and we keep climbing to that 1,000 mark. Hopefully we get there by the end of the year. But you know what, guys? I'm going to tell you this right now. It's not just me that's doing this. I mean, I wouldn't be here without the amazing support of everybody that I've had. So, with that, I can tell you right now, I have like very much a healthy Discord. So the link will be in the description. I also have a Twitch that I stream Mondays, Thursdays, and Saturdays. So swing on by then, chat with me, play games with me. I also like have a Twitter that I post information about what's coming up. And I hope you guys enjoyed this. And you know what? I'll see you in the next one.